make sure that your tax bill is correct is to check and make sure that all of the exemptions that you are eligible for have been properly applied to your tax bill. If you're in Cook County, the best place to start is cookcountyassessor.com. The assessor's office is responsible for assessing the taxes and reviewing exemption applications. So your first stop when you're on the assessor's website here is to click on exemptions. When you get here, you'll go to the overview page and you'll see at least 10 different types of exemptions that one may be eligible for. An exemption requires that homeowner to qualify for any of these different discounts that are listed here. The most common type of exemption is a homeowner exemption. That is an exemption that the homeowner is entitled to receive if they are an owner-occupant of the property. Another way to say this is if you own your property and you have lived in it for at least one full calendar year, then you are eligible to apply for a homeowner's exemption. Similarly, a senior exemption is also a very common exemption. It applies to homeowners that are over the age of 65. The third common exemption is a senior freeze, also called a low-income senior citizens exemption. This applies if you are over the age of 65 and under the income threshold of $65,000. It's important to note that all three of these exemptions can apply on a property, or even more. It depends on the eligibility of the homeowner. Whatever your circumstances are, first look through the requirements, and if you believe that you satisfy the requirements, then your next step is to go and look at your tax bill. Given that the tax bills have just come out, the best place to see the most current tax bill is the Cook County Treasurer's Office. The Cook County Treasurer's Office is responsible for actually issuing the tax bill and collecting the payment. When you go to cookcountytreasurer.com, you're going to click this purple box here. And if you have your PIN number or your address, you'll put it in here. So for instance, if you have the address, you'll put it here. But for us, we have a sample property that we're using, and so we're going to put in that PIN number now. You can find your PIN number on your tax bill, on your deed. There's lots of ways to find it. But again, if you don't have it, just click search by property address and put it in that way. You're going to click continue, and then your property will come up here. This is where you'll be able to see the tax bills from the prior year and the tax bills for the current year. All of these here have been paid. This one is unpaid because this is the one that came out July 1st. So we're going to actually look at this bill. You're going to scroll down to the section that's entitled Download Your Tax Bill. When you get here, you're going to click on Tax Year 2023 Second Installment, because the second installment of each tax bill is where you'll be able to see the actual exemptions. You will never be able to see exemptions on the first installment tax bill. When you get here, what's important is this section here. On the bottom of the first page, there is a box that says Tax Calculator. And when you get to the Tax Calculator, it's going to show you the exemptions, if any. So in this instance, the taxes for the year for this property were $11,141.70. And the exemptions that were eligible, homeowners, senior citizen, and senior freeze, none of them were applied, which meant that the tax bill remained unchanged. And then the first installment bill, which already has come out and been paid, was $2,694.35. And that second installment is what's due, $84.4735. And that's what's reflected up here as the total payment due, $84.4735. Now, just so I can show you as a point of comparison, if we go back to look at the prior tax year from 2022, you'll see that there were exemptions applied. So we're going to download that 2022 tax bill, and you'll see the annual taxes for 2022 on this same property was $8,201.64. So it was already significantly lower just by the annual tax assessment alone. And then once we applied the homeowner's exemption, which was $1,834.90, and the senior exemption, $1,467.92, that brought the total tax bill down for this property for 2022 to $4898.82. And then we see how the first installment and the second installment payments were divided. This is a helpful tool so that you can compare the prior tax year to the current tax year and see how it's increased. It's also helpful because you can clearly see here the value of the exemptions. So if you believe that you're entitled to exemptions and they're not on your property, then you're going to go back to the Cook County Assessor's page here, and you're going to apply for what's called a certificate of error. Certificate of error is a document that you file with the assessor's office that says, hey, a mistake was made. The good news about a certificate of error is it doesn't have to be the assessor's mistake. It can be yours. And you can say, hey, I didn't realize that I was entitled to a homeowner's exemption. I've been living in my house for 3 years. Then you could apply for that retroactively, okay? And here are all of the different types of exemptions that you would bring to the assessor's attention as being misapplied. And you would either apply online, which I strongly encourage, or you would apply the paper way, where you download the form and you'd send it on to the assessor's office. But nonetheless, if you believe you were, for example, entitled to a homeowner's exemption and you went and looked at your bill and it was not on there, then you're going to apply for it here, okay? Generally speaking, when you apply for a homeowner's exemption, it will remain on the property through subsequent years. But that is something you'll have to confirm with the county. I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you.